I do love that tune every single week.
Me too, but I've now turned myself into an Andy Bernard version from The Office, where I'm like,
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for tuning in. It's time for another week of the House of Horrors podcast. Excuse our tardiness last week. I know we said we're going to go weekly and then vanished on you, but it's fine. Don't worry. We're back into the full swing of things. Everyone's back to full health, so let's do this. Ryan, how you been?
Yeah, not too bad. Before I get bashed in the old things for this, so just to make you aware, because it's an awareness piece now, I have what is called Crohn's disease, which really sucks. It's a crap illness, if you forgive the pun. But it's you gotta laugh at yourself.
I do like that.
I have Crohn's disease, which is like a thing where my immune system attacks my own body, and it involves going to the bathroom a lot, losing all chemical energy out your body. It's very unpleasant. Ash was very lovely and understanding. Last week, I just physically was not able to do the podcast. And that's also why sometimes I do some last-minute absences. It sucks. Part of my life. What can you do? But and a lot of people don't know about it, so give it a Google. CHRONS, Crohn's. And that concludes the medical portion of our podcast. Also, I got a Pizza Hut. Hat. So check that out.
You got a Pizza Hut hat, and I got a little bit overexcited this week with all the drops, of certain lines of memorabilia, especially because it's 90s week as well.
Hello, Sorrel.
But my favorite one.
God, what's he got? Oh God. I see orange. I can see the color. Oh, I love that.
Pumpkin ghost face.
I love that. That is a proper pumpkin ghost face. That is cool. I like that. I like that a lot. Got a lot of time for that. Where'd you get that?
So all these are available online at madabout.horror.co.uk, who do send me things from time to time. They have these up for purchase, or you can grab them on Amazon. It's the official Scream merchandising for Ghostface. They're pretty awesome masks. They're quite relatively cheap, so they're like between 10 and £12 each. So I mean, they're not exactly dear either.
And by the way, that wasn't like a Wayne's World me leading into a corporate sponsor. I genuinely didn't know where he got those from. I just thought they were cool.
It's sad when people bow down to corporate sponsors.
Yeah. It's like people only do things because they get paid. And that's just, I don't even have anything corporate other than this hat. Damn it. I was going to do the whole bit. But I was like, no. I've got a Turbo Man. That's the closest thing I've got to corporate sponsor near me.
Put the cookie down now. But no, this week's been crazy, and just to kick it off, I have to plug this instantly. So me and Jacob on the Geek Week in Review were talking about this on Sunday night, right? This was announced on Saturday and sold out instantly. Then a second wave of them came out on Sunday. This is the Figure Obscura Mask of the Red Death by Edgar Allan Poe. You know the same people that made the Headless Horseman figure I've got?
Yeah.
Krampus. This is their Halloween 2023 figure. And literally, I put my order in at 11 o'clock on Sunday evening, and it arrived this morning from New Jersey.
What?
I know. They sent it on ridiculously fast mail. And,
on a pigeon.
And
is it a drone drop?
But it is beautiful.
Mate, look at that.
It is beautiful.
Big fan of that. You know, there'll be some people who are buying that just for the clock.
No.
I think one, but nope, got to get it from an action figure.
I think Jacob wanted it just for the clock, to be honest. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, it's a cool figure drop.
Who we got in the chat tonight? Let's have a look. We've got
a lot of people going on.
Wow. This is what I love about this show. Like, you guys who watch it are awesome commenting and stuff. It makes the show.
Yeah, we got a weird comment at the beginning of last week saying that we're influencing her children, this lady's children, and she's saying it was very inappropriate to be putting out a horror podcast for children. I'm like, we're not putting on a horror podcast for children.
When did we agree that?
And so then good old Shelley jumped in to save the day. Since when have horror podcasts been for family friendly? Yes, exactly. But yes, Shelley's with us in the chat. Good evening, Shelley. Stuggy as well. Joey B1. Andy H. Yes. Andy H as well. Why's mine sound like that? They're never on
Andy, is it worth it? Professional stylist.
And Logan Benson's in the chat this evening. Good evening, Logan. Actual Jawar is with us. He's not seen me in a while because I've not been on Twitch for a long time. So thank you very much for tuning in, dude. Because yes, we are going out.
Damn it.
I know. We are going out on like many channels. We're currently live on YouTube, Facebook, Ryan's YouTube, Ryan's Facebook, my YouTube, my Facebook, and my Twitch. So we're all over the place right now.
We're on airplanes. We're on the back of toilets. We're everywhere.
And Mick Spector as well. Good old Mick.
Hey,
and
Mick.
Strawberry. Good evening, Strawberry.
How are you doing? That's how I read that every time.
Hey, you guys just been sleeping more. Mick, all you do is sleep, mate. All you do is sleep. How are you doing? Hello there in Scottish acting English.
Hello there. Because Ewan McGregor is Scottish, obviously, isn't he?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
There we go. I could see the confused look on your face, and I was like, I should come in with subtitles and explain this one.
I always said it wasn't down to the content provider to stop our children from watching inappropriate content. Yeah. I get that a lot.
Parenting.
I get that a lot.
And we're not. Yeah, we're not that bad.
We're not actually. Compared to some out there that like ours is relatively tame. And even my channel, even though it's gone completely horror, I'm still relatively friendly. I don't put anything on my channel that's mental. So I mean, I've always said above the age of 13 is probably appropriate for my channel. Anything below that, it's up to your own discretion. There's never going to be any or much swearing. I wouldn't say never, because occasionally I do cut my fingers, and I will swear. And I don't edit my videos. It just goes straight live. Goes from the phone, from the mouth to the phone to the TV. Yes.
Andy H. Shelley was more diplomatic than I was going to be. I was just going to say that wife failed as a parent. Wow. Andy's just like, no prisoners. Strawberry, do you like Thomas and Friends? Bob the Builder. So weird fun fact, I do actually like Thomas the Tank Engine, and I collect Ertl Thomas trains. So there you go. But I've got a feeling that this might not be the channel for you if you're asking that question.
We are going to pop that user in timeout because I've got a feeling that is a child, so we're just going to pop that away over there. Right, next up. Let's move on. Move on from the grooming portion of the show. I got a new book this week.
Oh no! No, 9.
9.
International no. 9.
Anyway,
hold on. How did I become Scottish? I'm a Geordie dude. I'm not doing the Geordie accent. I'm not going to insult.
I've seen enough Geordie Shore. I could probably give it a go, but it would be terrible. But
no one talks about the Shore. What? All Hallows by Christopher Golden.
Yes. So this is set in 1984, and basically it's about a bunch of like school kids, a bit like Stranger Things kind of thing.
I thought I could hear Bowling for Soup playing for a second there when you started saying,
So yeah, there's it's a good little story. I've been reading a bit of it, and it's basically about the Cunning Man. The Cunning Man is like the Shadow Man, the Hat Man, all them kind of like spooky stories you've heard as a kid about like a dark shadow coming for you in the middle of the night. And basically, it's Halloween night, and all the parents have got other stuff to deal with and would rather not be dealing with their kids being scared of the dark. So these kids get left alone Halloween night to fend for themselves against the Shadow Man. Then it's a good little story. Ooh. It's the perfect Halloween treat. It's all set on Halloween night. I
shall give it. I'll add it to my list because I've got a very long reading list. Also, if we're getting up to October, and October is where I start reading my Goosebumps books because I'm a sucker for Goosebumps in October. And I've just found out there was a stage show of Goosebumps, which I didn't know. And there is a special book. This is in the 90s. There was a special book released for it. It is like 45 quid. I think I saw one on eBay, like cheapest one I saw for UK. But I'm tempted because I absolutely adore Goosebumps. And I actually controversially prefer the English covers with the slime effect around the picture than to the American ones.
Yeah, I like ours with the nice bumpy covers and stuff. They go for a lot of money on eBay them now. It's crazy.
They do. I mean, my other half, she just picked me up quite a few, like my wife Caroline, and I just love them. I've almost got the original story run, and then I've got quite a few of the Give Yourself Goosebumps, and I've got quite a few of the 2000 series because I used to save up my little tokens for book club at school just to get those. But if anyone, this is a self request, if anyone can get hold of for a reasonable price the Art of Goosebumps book for me, I will be eternally grateful. I shall give you the pennies, give you the money. But I am desperately trying to find that book still. It came up for pre-order on Amazon. They cancelled my pre-order, and I've not been able to find one since.
Oh no! Did you ever get hold of the R.L. Stine sort of like biography book?
No, that's again on my collection list.
Yeah, that were a good one because I had a little hardback book, and it had all Goosebumps like artwork on the front of it and stuff. That were cool. But did you know that R.L. Stine's got a new book out for this Halloween?
Has he?
Yes, he's got a new book out called Slime Doesn't Play. It is very much in the style of Goosebumps. As soon as you see the front cover, how they wrote R.L. Stine on it, it's literally Goosebumps. And it's a story set around a kid on Halloween night kind of thing. So it's definitely worth a pick up if you're a fan.
I always love the pun titles.
Yeah, me too.
It's what makes it, Slime Doesn't Play. So,
are you looking forward to the new TV series?
I had my reservations, but now I've seen a full trailer, like a full trailer, not that little 3-second teaser trailer. Like I've seen a full trailer now, and now I actually find myself a little bit excited.
Yeah, it looks
so
good.
Now I am excited. If anything, just because I think maybe spookiness is in the air. So here's a fun thing about spookiness though. Already, my neighbor, JB, across the hall. We have this thing where I have basically a half-size, life-size Jar Jar Binks. Don't even ask. I started because I had keys to his flat from because I've got a couple of bits in his loft and stuff. So I started moving it, putting it around the flat in different places.
Yeah.
But anyway, my Halloween stuff is actually in his loft because it was easier than because I'm still sorting out my stuff. I was like, right, if you don't mind, sort of thing. So I put that in there, and we have this thing where we sort of used to try and get each other with it. That's gone all quiet. But when I went to get some of my Halloween stuff down the other day in preparation, I've got a full-size skeleton up there, and I was like, I can have fun with this. So I left it. He went out. I left it on his sofa with the PS4 controller and headphones on, and I was like, yeah, I got him. And then he got me because he put it outside my front door at night. And by the way, there's a fire light outside. We live in flats. There's a fire light on my things. And this is what I came out for, and literally almost crapped my pants.
That's awesome.
And I was just like, he got me fair and square. The funny thing is, though, I knew it was there. That was the stupid thing. So I had an Amazon parcel delivered. They took a picture of the doorstep because he'd done it during the day. And I'd seen it in the picture. And I was like, mate, you've been rumbled by Amazon. But then when I got in, I really needed the loo. So I went straight in. And then I forgot I'd left it out there. So when I came out in darkness, and that's what I saw, I almost kicked it in the face. I was just like, nah, give it a chop. I was like, it was terrifying.
That says, just to answer Joey B in the chat there, yes, there was a spin-off book called Gooflumps. There was only 2 of them though, but yes, they did exist. That was not a fever dream. It was by they used the author's name of R.U. Slime instead of R.L. Slime. And there was 2. I've just quickly looked them up. There was Stay Out of the Bathroom and Eat Cheese and Bath. And the other one was called Warning, not a Goosebumps. And that had stories in it like Monster Blood, Eat Cheese and Bath, and Say Cheese and Fry. So
is this like the Garbage Pail Kids version of Cabbage Patch Kids? Is it like that kind of? Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, they were available. There were 2 books. They only came out in the United States, and they were published in 1995 in hardback format. So good luck finding those. But yeah, they were available. If you look up the RM, there's a whole thing.
I am in New York myself in 3 weeks, so I will be out in the NYC.
Nice. That'll be fun.
Oh no, I can't wait. And the other thing is, I'm going in October, so I'm hoping for a lot of over-the-top American Halloween stuff.
Oh, you will.
To be out and about, and yeah, so I'm like, I will travel as lightly as possible. But I'm going to a wedding, so I do have to still pack the suit, which is annoying. I'm like, that suit, that's a whole skeleton I could have fit in there. Damn it.
But did you pick anything else up this week? So I got a few little things.
Do you know what? I have actually, because I've not been very well, the only thing I got myself this week was a charging cable.
Oh. Well, there is the new issue of The Darker Side on publishing this week. So go grab that. That's another good horror magazine. This one tends to focus a lot more on like the obscure stuff. I know it's got Freddy on the front cover, but it's like there's some like really obscure films there that I've never heard of in 1,000 years. Like Frightmares. What the fuck is Frightmares? But yeah, there's loads of things in it. Like loads of little random. And they've got the new DVD reviews as well, which I know you're a big DVD collector, physical media guy. So they do like proper like in-depth like reviews on like the big bundle packs of stuff, and they break it down as to what's actually included and all the special features, and they do some proper good in-depth DVD reviews in there.
What's that one called?
The Darker Side.
Oh, I'm gonna go W.H. Smith's tomorrow.
Yeah. And in comics this week, you can tell Halloween's around the corner because Creepshow's back. IDW's new Creepshow. We've got the new
Look at that cover.
I know. It's so vibrant and nice.
Bangarang. That is awesome.
Yeah. We've got the new R.L. Stine one comes out this Wednesday as well. Well, today. So that'll be kick-ass. Can't wait to go pick that up on Saturday. Werewolf by Night #1 by Marvel. So we've got another werewolf story.
We've got that coming in colour, haven't we, actually?
Yeah, we do. The
continuation... I watch it, even though I love it in black and white, I will watch it still.
The continuation of TMNT with Stranger Things. And Blade and Hades as well.
Blade.
The Disney villains stories are weird. They're very weird little comics, but they're fun.
Joby One, New York, man. That's not too far from Texas. Well, if you want to make your way down to New York City, I'll check you the dates. And Andy Roberts, how's it going? All hey, with a little pumpkin emoji. Yay!
Yeah, I mean,
all good, my friend. All good. Good to have you all in the chat.
Yes,
I always sound stupid, even though we've not met any of these, like hardly any of these people in the chat. I do like look forward to speaking to you all each week. Yeah. I kind of feel like sort of it's like coming into like the chums hanging out together.
Yes, New York to Texas is only 3.5 hours on a plane.
Exactly, that's like nothing. It's like a taxi,
The Americans will drive that, not even think of it. It's like a week's journey or something. They'll just drive it. It's like 3,000 miles. No big deal. I'll Forrest Gump it.
Baba said, "This is my favorite podcast." Baba used to say this in my magic shows.
Oh, I saw a great TikTok earlier. It was she got that girl from American Horror Story, the main one, and she was saying that she likes some. They were asking like really weird questions in this interview, and she said they asked her what kind of man she likes. So she instinctively just sort of like said, "That's a weird question, but I like a man that keeps himself in shape." And it just cut to Forrest Gump going, "And for no reason, I just started running."
Oh, I like that.
I would die laughing. I love that Forrest Gump meme. But I got some physical media this week as well.
What?
I'm a good boy.
What'd you get?
I got Season of the Witch. I
love that film.
Halloween 3. Do you know the thing is, I don't think I've ever watched it from start to finish like properly.
Dude, it's a really good movie, and I reckon if it didn't have that thing where they had tried to do the anthology, if it was just called Season of the Witch and it was like to do Halloween, I think people would have rated it, and it's getting a better following now. But it's like, and they did try and tie it in, but I actually think it's a really good movie.
Yeah, I mean, from like growing up, the only thing I remember about it is the masks and the stupid little advert going, "Happy, happy Halloween." That's the only part of the whole film I remember. So I need to sit down and actually give this a proper watch. So I bought it on DVD.
I look forward to discussing that one.
Yes, and then because I got told that I need to watch this one, so X and Pearl. These two follow on.
I've not seen either of those. I saw the trailer for whichever one's the newest one. I think it's Pearl is the newest one.
Pearl's the newest one. So yeah, X came out first, and it sounds a bit.
Go and give
it sounds a bit. Yeah, it does sound a bit. Go and give it to you. In 1979, a group of young filmmakers set out to make an adult movie in rural Texas. Hey, Joey B's in it. But when their reclusive elderly hosts catch them in the act, they find themselves fighting for their lives. It sounds a bit like a tamer version of House of 1,000 Corpses, to be honest. Go
House of 100 Corpses. The 100 Corpses, which keeps it a bit more mellow.
And then you got Pearl, which is like the origin story of the girl from X. So
Love
Sounds
it. See,
interesting.
I like
Yeah.
that we've got new franchises creeping up under people's noses, and people don't even realize, some things are starting a franchise, and I'm a sucker for a franchise.
Oh, the franchises. I mean, Art the Clown's coming to cinema. He's already got the first film's already been in cinemas apparently in America, and they're getting the second one in cinemas very soon. So the third one is right around the corner now.
If they do like a triple bill or something, because they've been known to do that here. Like when they have films like that, sometimes what they'll do is they'll show the first two, and then the new one will start at midnight. So you get like the as soon as it opens. So I'm really hoping that'd be really cool if they did that. It's not one for my wife. My wife doesn't like gory horror, like that kind of stuff. It's she's much more paranormal and jump scares sort of thing. So I think that's one I'm going to watch. Probably like the new Saw film. I'm probably going to watch that solo as well.
Yeah, are you going to the cinema to see any of the anniversary showings? Because there's a lot of anniversary showings coming up very soon at cinema over here, isn't there? So we've got The Exorcist. I'm definitely going to see.
I'm seeing that on Tuesday.
Nice. On mine it's Saturday and Wednesday, 30th and 4th. So I'm going to give that a watch. And then I've got the Hocus Pocus as well, the 30th anniversary of that on the big screen. Definitely going to have to go see that, I think. We've got Hellraiser in 4K restoration at Cineworld here as well.
I have seen that on the big screen. They did that last year, I think it was. And I went with my mates, Rich and Dave, and that was awesome. We have such sights to show you.
Although I have to do this one, I think. This is one I'm definitely going to buy tonight, I think, which is Friday the 13th, 1980, the original, on October Friday the 13th.
Oh, that's good. I'm going to have to check out my local Odeon because that's only a few...
It's Friday the 13th in October, and it's on the big screen. That's just, you've got to go see that. That's a no-brainer. And then we've got Christine as well. It's on its 40th anniversary year this year, and that's being shown on mine as well on October 18th.
Really?
Yep. Beetlejuice 35th anniversary coming up on October 28th.
That I would love to see on the big screen because I love that film, and I'm very excited for the sequel.
Yeah.
We've got when it comes out.
Well, there's supposedly a trailer coming out. Apparently, it's nearly done. But I'm not sure because obviously the strikes are now over. So,
are they over?
Mm-hmm. It was in the news today.
Oh,
they're in.
I haven't seen much news today.
They're in like the final bit of it anyway. Let me double check if there's been any update on it. But yeah, there were some massive movements on that today. On the last sort of 40 hours. BBC, why did he change? Why did BBC change from Entertainment Arts that I've been clicking on for years in that right-hand corner, and now they've moved it and called it Culture? I hate it. Right,
there we go. Joby One said that there's a tentative deal reached. Okay.
Yeah, Hollywood writers end strike after. Well, on BBC they've used Hollywood writers agree to end 5-month strike after studio deal.
We'll give you a biscuit as well. It's probably what the studios have said because let's be honest, the studios do suck with that kind of thing.
We will give you bandages for boo-boos and biscuits.
Bandages for boo-boos.
Bandages for boo-boos.
That sounds like that's a good name for a band.
Bandages for boo-boos. No, I was thinking more on the lines of George of the Jungle. No one dies in this movie. They just get very bad boo-boos.
The only funny... I used to love the narrator in that, but the only funny joke in George of the Jungle 2, yes, there was one. Don't look it up. It's boring. But the only funny joke in it is at the very beginning when it's clear it's not Brendan Fraser. And the narrator's like, wait, who are you? You're not George. And then the guy who's playing, he goes, Brendan Fraser too expensive. Me much cheaper or something like that. And I was just like, that was funny. And then the rest of the film sucked so bad.
Well, I had to laugh.
Brendan Fraser.
Well, I laughed this week because I got around to finally watching. I know this is completely not horror related, but I got around to watching the Barbie movie with Lynn and stuff this week. And the narrator,
my God, it's so good.
The narrator in that, the bit where Margot Robbie's crying, and it says that the director's really not getting across his point here. Margot Robbie's attractive regardless.
Yeah.
Also, to that effect. I thought that was brilliant.
Getting Helen Mirren to be the narrator is just a stroke of genius. Yeah. I love that film. I thought it was absolutely brilliant.
It was decent.
I know there was a lot of people very had a lot of their masculinity very damaged, but I don't know whether it's because I'm a bi guy, but I just I loved it. I thought it was brilliant.
I think it's just because I'm Ken.
Really, I feel more like an Alan.
Alan, I love that. It was such a weird little movie, but I enjoyed it. My daughter, on the other hand, got bored after about 20 minutes. That was not
it's
a
weird
kid's film.
because it's not a kid's film. A little fun fact: you know the little girl with the glasses who smashes the doll at the beginning?
Yeah.
That's my sister-in-law's neighbor's daughter.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, who did like their? I think that she's like a photographer and stuff, and she did like all their wedding photos and stuff. She was like, "Oh yeah, my daughter's in that new Barbie movie." It's just like, excuse me, baking powder. But yeah, how cool was that? Small world.
That is cool. Very small world. So we've got some cool stuff coming up to talk about as well. So we've got the whole news thing going. We've got a lot of news to talk about. So I'm going to jump in. Did you manage to watch? Have you managed to watch American Horror Story yet, the new one?
No, but to be honest, I am about 4 or 5 seasons behind.
Ooh.
And I will watch it eventually. The problem is, it's as always with things, it's time, you know.
Yeah.
But this one looked really good. I watched the trailer for it because someone put like a trailer together with me, and it does look really good. And the thing is, I do want to get back into it because I do like the franchise.
Yeah,
Roanoke might have been my last. No, the one where they're in the bunker. That was I started watching that, but I never got to finish it.
Yeah, that got weird halfway through, and they introduced the Coven witches again, and it started crossing over with the other ones.
Look at that in the comments. Sorry, just before we go into that. Andy H, I think I might have tracked that book down for you, Ryan. Leave it with me. Andy, you are like super detective.
He really is. He'll find anything on there.
The legend that is Andy H. The H stands for hope. Take that, Superman, you stupid alien ass.
H stands for hope. I am now going to, every time he messages me, I'm going to now be thinking that in my head now. Andy Hope.
Yeah.
Help me, Andy, I'm my only hope. I was surprised because I went into the new one because obviously I was terrified because it had the words Cara Delevingne and Kim Kardashian attached to it, and Cara Delevingne's about she's hiding an accent thicker than her eyebrows. Let's put it that way. She's hiding that accent well in this. But no, it was decent. It was a decent first. Like it was only the first episode that's come out, but it was decent.
Cool. Okay.
But news-wise, Devil May Cry, Netflix is dropping its teasers for Devil May Cry and Tomb Raider adaptations. So they're coming out very soon.
Netflix are doing a Tomb Raider adaptation. We're not getting a sequel to the original film.
No, I'm not even sure if these are live action or cartoon or what. It doesn't say a thing. It's just got the picture of it's got the Devil May Cry logo and Dante with his 2 guns. It doesn't actually say whether. These are cartoons. These are definite cartoons.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I've seen the thing. It's by the people that made Castlevania.
Oh, in that case, that's quite promising then.
It's by the people that made Castlevania. So yeah, that looks pretty good actually. Devil May Cry and Tomb Raider: The Legend of Lara Croft coming to Netflix very soon. New episode of Happy Tree Friends is coming out to coincide with a DLC for the Crack Pet Show trailer, whatever the hell that is.
Wow, Happy Tree Friends. I haven't thought about them for a long time.
That's why
I've always thought the Five Nights at Freddy's masks were always a bit Happy Tree Friends looking.
Yeah. Oh, it was definitely in the same vein, isn't it? It's definitely from taking out like things.
Yeah, I do think Happy Tree Friends is somehow more gory.
It is. I used to love them, and Foamy the Squirrel as well. Love Foamy the Squirrel.
Won't be salad fingers though. That we're a horror podcast, we should get like salad fingers as like a guest gif on this at some point.
But for those of us that grew up in the 90s, 2D horror games were kind of a big thing back in the day. Point and click adventures, and we are getting a new one for this Halloween, arriving on October 17th. We're getting Vlad Circus Descent into Madness.
Ooh.
This will be arriving via Steam, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One, and Xbox Series X. Yep. And Nintendo Switch. So a little point-and-click adventure for Halloween awaits us.
I like that, though. Halloween games are underrated, because they... Do bear with me, caller. Where's my little favourite? My favourite Halloween game, and it's not one a lot of people know about. Didn't mean to go Michael Caine then. Not a lot of people know about it. Haunting. Haunting starring Poltergeist for Sega Mega Drive. This is a game where you play like this, like a ghost, like a poltergeist, and you go around the house and you can interact with things and jump into things. And the idea is you fill the fear meter and you have to try and scare the whole family out of the house. and when you run out of like ectoplasm, you have to go and complete this like horrible horror maze thing, when collect more of this green goop, and then you get back to the house. But it is a phenomenal game. It's so good for like Halloween playing.
That sounds very similar to Ghostmaster. Did you ever play Ghostmaster?
Oh no.
So that was very much like The Sims, a very old school game. It was very much like The Sims, top down style, just like The Sims 1. And basically, you played the Ghostmaster who could summon, like, conjure ghosts, and like there was like a ghost that was a bit like Casper that could rattle chains and make thunder clap, and there was like a weather witch, and they were all named after like sort of like horror legends and things. And you would basically have like so much like ectoplasm to use up to summon these ghosts, depending on the fear level of the people in the house.
Oh, I like that. That sounds a bit of me, that.
Yeah, like some of the people in the house, like one person would have like a fear of thunder, while somebody is like they're not scared of thunder, and in actual fact they'll help calm down the other person. So you've got to like scare them off first, then do the thunder. And there was like a strategy to it. You had to like learn about the people in the house. And then there would be like ghosts that were like tethered to the house. Like there was this one house in there that was like a 3-story mansion, and basically this old woman were lonely and inviting like handymen out to fix things and then killing them with arsenic in the tea.
Jesus, I mean,
and then,
the concept's not massively different, but just it's not like there's lots of ghosts. You play as one ghost that is basically trying to get them out of this house. Well, multiple houses. When they move, you just fall into a different house, and everything you can interact with and everything. But yeah, look it up. Sega Mega Drive, Haunting, starring Poltergeist. Highly recommend.
Nice.
By Electronic Arts. What I love though on the cover shows you the age of the game. 86%, the best programmed game since Echo. By Mean Machines, that review.
I love it. The best programmed game. What a thing to put on a cover.
I know. Speaking of games, though, I'm going to do a little plug right now, if that's okay with you. And
Go for
you know,
it,
I spoke to earlier. So, we all know about Kickstarter. I really love Kickstarter because I've had some real gems from there. I've got it's behind the curtain here, but there's one where it's all the horror film related comic books. It's all been like put into one book, not the actual books themselves, but like what they are by franchise years and stuff, a bit about the histories of it. There's been some really good ones. There's an early Haunts graphic novel I got on there. But one thing that's on there at the moment is Haunted Halloween, the Trick or Treat board game. This looks really, really good fun. I don't know if there's any way you can do a Digiman man in the computer chair thing on the screen.
Yeah. Give me a second.
It's a really I'm backing it. It looks really good. There's different versions, but this is a really nice sort of like family-run business. So it's a family basically doing their very first board game. It's like very family-orientated. This is it. Haunted Halloween, the Trick or Treat game. It's doing really well, as you can see. It's already basically doubled what it needed for the budget. Oh, here we go. Look at that. Got the whole thing. But yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool, though. I like the look of this. This looks dead up my street. It's just cheesy Halloween. You're collecting candy along the way. That's cool.
And obviously there's stretch goals, which make some of the pieces from cardboard to like plastic, like figurines, rather than like the cardboard standees.
No, I like the standees. That's more retro.
It still comes with the standees, but it gives you the option of using the plastic ones, so you can use both. But like, it's a really cool like game. I saw about it, and I was just speaking to them a bit. Like, there's America Cup one of it. I just sent like some places that they should check out for trying to get some UK distribution. But obviously, when you do it through Kickstarter, you can get things that might not potentially come over here. But it looks really good fun. I'm a big horror board game fan, so I've got like all the Goosebumps games, Ghost Castle. You know, I just love that kind of thing. So I've backed it, and I just thought, you know, we like independent films and stuff like that. So I'm like, we should share the independent love. So yeah, go on to Kickstarter, look it up, the Haunted Halloween, the Trick or Treat game. It looks really good. I'm really excited for it, and please do check it out. Very excited.
It does look really cool. I like the fact that it's got that really like retro look to it as well. It reminds me of like my childhood playing games in the basement.
It's like 90s board games almost, isn't it? It's that kind of feel to it.
Definitely. No, that's really cool. I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to go back after this. Definitely.
My man.
Yeah.
What other news have we had this week, my friend?
I'm just flicking through right quick. So the The Enfield Poltergeist trailer on Apple TV Plus, a docu-series exploring the truth behind The Conjuring 2, is coming out very soon, and it'll be available on Apple TV Plus. So I haven't got Apple TV, but I'll have to find a way of getting it. I'll find a way of getting it, Andy H.
We got it free with my wife's phone contract, funny enough, and then we just decided to keep it because we just do it for the year. You can do you can buy it for the year rather than having to do that monthly thing.
Yeah.
And I'm a big fan of those options because then you don't have to worry about it for a whole year, and as if there's not enough to worry about. So and Apple TV has got a load of good stuff on it, but that's really exciting because there's a lot about those stories, like the Ed and Lorraine Warren's stories that need to be expanded on for documentaries, I think. So that's cool.
Yeah, so there's, as you know, because from talking to me before, there's a house near me, which very much shares a very similar story to Enfield. It's very similar, but the Enfield one was obviously more famous than the Warrens, and that went to there. But I've just spent the last 48 hours in a haunted house.
Oh wow!
I literally spent 48 hours in the house near me, the Monday and Tuesday all day. I'm absolutely knackered at this moment in time. I've not slept for like 72 hours almost. But let me just pop this.
Any weird stuff?
Yeah, I'm putting out my video. Will be going out on Halloween, but they filmed for the entire 48 hours while they were there, and so you'll occasionally see me and that around during the videos and stuff. But I'm going to edit it all together with all the bits with me in it. But
super creepy sorrow.
But yeah, it was a full on 40 hours in this haunted house, and there I am, like, yeah,
I know that guy.
I know that guy. But yeah, it was a weird little experience. But spending actually, I've only ever been before for like a day trip. Going there and spending a full 48 hours like surrounded by it and not leaving it was very weird. So like normally you spend like 5 or 6 hours there, go to bed, wake up, and leave, and you kind of like, oh yeah, that was fun. But this was like living with it for like 40 hours kind of thing. So that was a different experience.
Now, without going into it, have you ever had any weird experiences before?
Yes. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to call it then because I've had a couple as well. And I think on a future episode, maybe we should swap some ghost stories, and we'll get you guys watching at home as well. We'll start swapping some ghost stories. Maybe we can send them in advance. We can read them in our creepy voices.
Well, I can do one better. I can actually post something right now. I'm going to put it in our chat and then drag it up on my screen. This one. Send. So if I just send that to our little chat, that'll be sending. We'll give that a minute. But yeah, I'll post them up in a second to show you. But yeah, it was that would be a fun episode to do a whole episode dedicated to ghost stories and experiences.
Are you afraid of the cast? That's what we should call it.
I like it. Are you afraid of the cast? Yes, definitely. 100%. I like that name. That is going to be the episode name.
I've received the message, Super Sorrel. It's coming in loud and clear. It's landed on my device.
So let me put this up on my screen. Go back to the beginning, and I'm going to play it because this is dead weird. This I can't explain. So this is, if anyone's not familiar with ghost hunting, this is the Estes method, which is where you are blindfolded like twice, so you cannot see. And I'm wearing noise-cancelling headphones, and then they also put earbuds in my ears as well. And they were blasting like Black Sabbath into my ears, so I couldn't hear a damn thing, right? And then what they do is, once they've asked the question, they turn the music off, and they put this like radio frequency thing on.
Oh, okay.
And it will basically, you're supposedly meant to hear what the ghosts are saying. So here it is.
Can you touch them again,
You guys listening to me? Wow. I'm guessing you didn't need to do that. So.
One more, please. Do it again.
Touch him one more time.
Touch him on the side.
Touch him on the other side.
Brilliant. Well done. Lovely. That was excellent.
So they said, "Can you touch him?" And so I got touched on this side, and I kind of like jumped a little bit. But I can't hear a word they're saying. And then they said, "Can you touch him on the other side?" And it like pulled the back of my head. It felt like someone pulled the back of my head.
Oh, that is
so
weird.
So weird. And it's the fact that you can't hear them. So it's not like you're hearing them and being thingied by it. You can't hear a word they're saying.
I'm intrigued. I want to go.
It's a very cool house, and it's very much in the style of it. It's like the same story as the Enfield one. It's about a little girl that was living there that was being tormented by a poltergeist, and it's meant to be the most violent poltergeist in Europe. The one near me, because the one at Enfield, it picked her up, didn't it, in the bedroom once, and there's that famous photo of her up in the air.
Yeah.
In the house near me, the girl was dragged up the stairs, and the mother watched as the girl got dragged up the stairs. And the thing is, the dad put it in the newspaper about, there's a ghost in the house, and then the mum pulled the story and said, "I don't want it sensationalizing. We live here," kind of thing. They don't want people turning up to the house randomly, trying to find ghosts and stuff. So she pulled it. They didn't want any publicity on it, and it wasn't until the lady Jean, who lived in the house, passed away, that people could start going to the house and investigating it. She lived there until her end. She lived with that poltergeist for 40 odd years. Her daughter moved out at age 17 and never came back. She lives in the Dale somewhere. She wouldn't, and she's not done any interviews on TV or anything. She don't want to know what to do with it. She's which makes me feel it's more real when someone does that and doesn't sell the story. That to me makes it like she's traumatized by something in the house.
Yeah, we got to do some ghost story episodes, man. Maybe we'll do them separate from our House of Horrors. Maybe we'll just do are you afraid of the? Like I said, are you afraid of the cast? That's what I'm going to call it.
That's a good little spin-off. I like that.
Yeah. Oh, I've gone all goose pimply now. We've been talking about that. But I suppose, what other news we got before we get on to our main topic?
Yeah. Time's ticking away. So we also have flicking. Here we go. So we have Trick or Treat Studios. They've got some cool stuff. You're going to love these. Let me share my screen. Trick or Treat Studios on Instagram this week put up Monsters Unchained. Go wait. Monster Unchained. I've not even clicked anything. Monster Unchained. Build your deck with the signature moves, chain them together in combos, and become the newest Universal monster. So this is a building card game that's coming out from Trick or Treat Studios based on Universal monsters. I really like the look of that. And I had to look into it because I was scared this was going to be I have to buy booster packs and collect a deck of cards, and I'm already into Lorcana. I can't do this one as well. But no, this is already included in the box. Basically, you shuffle the cards and you get so many each from the big deck.
Okay.
You have to chain attacks together to take out the other monsters, and it looks a cool little game.
Oh yeah, I'm on board with that.
And then these are only available, sadly, at Halloween 45, which is the big convention going on in Anaheim in California to celebrate 45 years of Halloween. But they are giving these little miniatures. You can get these little miniatures. I think they look pretty cool. Pretty retro. Those. I know.
Yeah.
They have done some before for other franchises, but I like the orange ones. It's Halloween. It's orange.
Yeah, and it almost looks like they should be part of a board game or something you would get free in something.
Yeah,
and I mean that as a compliment, by the way, everyone. No, but I mean as a compliment. That's what I mean when you say about it hits those retro kind of feels. When you used to get really cool free things, or the things you used to have to put a few quid in and then turn the dial. You don't know which one you're going to get. It's a mystery. It looks like that kind of cool thing.
And let's not forget, it is New York Toy Fair this weekend. So we're going to see lots of announcements from major studios, including Trick or Treat, who are going to be there. So they'll have their display. And they've already given us a couple of little teasers. So we're gearing up for Toy Fair. Take a look if you can figure out what this is. This is going to be on the stand while they're there. So I'm not sure what that is. But...
Texas Chainsaw Massacre Family Dinner.
Ah, dude, how did you get that from that? That is insane.
I do not know.
And then this one as
Goosebumps.
That does look like Goosebumps. To be fair. A lot of people saying Toxic, some people saying Ghostbusters. Goosebumps is a good shout though. It does look like the slime at the beginning of the episode with the black background. Goosebumps.
That was a terrible version of the theme. I don't know what song I was doing.
As well, out in America, there's a great person I follow called Las Vegas Funkoholics. and he finds all sorts. And these are currently out in America in box lunch gifts, which is the Monsters popping candy.
I'll see what I can find. If I can get you a set, I'll pick you up a set.
Well, yeah, the little cool little monsters with popping candy inside.
I love that because you know what I'd want to do? I would want to then fill that with like glow paint or something like that, or like oh no, to tell you what I would do, I would make sure it's watertight. And do you remember when you were a kid and you used to make like the weird swirly glittery ball things?
Yeah,
I would fill it with that kind of stuff and make like some shaky sort of universal monster of awesome glamness.
But this also caught my attention this week. So these are vinyl figures that are out currently in Shop, Culture Fly, and Five Below. Chapter 2 Pennywise figures, which seems a bit late for Pennywise figures at this point. But these are like little 6-inch action figures. And we had something similar here in the UK, but ours were like 4-inch little ones on cardbacks. These are like NECA style ones by the looks of that box. It looks quite large.
Interesting.
So I'm interested to see if they pop over here as well. They'll probably end up in like Mankind or something.
I suppose I can keep an eye out for them again. Well, I mean, I don't have a mention going in New York. Stokes said NECA American Horror Story figures. Oh, they're doing American Horror Story figures.
I haven't seen anything on it, but if they are, damn, I'm into that.
Yeah.
I mean, Twisty the Clown, Twisty the Clown and stuff. I'd be all over that, getting action figures. And there are certain characters that you could translate well into.
Everyone just wants a mini Evan Peters to put in their pocket. You want the witches figures. I know what you want. You loved Coven. You just want the Coven figures, don't you?
I do. I love the Coven. That was my favorite. I was going to say earlier when we were on about it, I was going to say it's nearly time for my rewatch on Halloween. It's because it's in New Orleans. I love New Orleans. Such an amazing place.
That's a dream place for me to visit.
Yeah, the closest I've ever gotten is going to Walt Disney World and going to the Port Orleans Resort, which is they basically like hire all staff that are from New Orleans. So they've all got the accent and they cook beignets and have all the proper food, and it's amazing.
Beignets.
Yeah, beautiful beignets. It's big pillows, like donut pillows with a hollow inside, and they're fried and they've got powdered sugar on them.
Isn't that where the Daniel Craig's character is meant to be from? From Knives Out and Glass Onion.
Oh yeah, I believe so. Yeah. Balance.
Yeah, I do believe there's been some foul play.
Yeah, I love it, and I think it's the voodoo stuff in that as well. There's some really cool because the voodoo god that's in it is he's like a real thing. He's not like a fake one. He's like a real one. It is Papa Legba. He's like a proper thing, a proper Haitian god.
I know. There's so much. Again, that could be a whole episode in its own right. We should just start doing loads of random horror stuff where it's like horror in legends, and stuff like that. We're just like myths, and we'll just go. I don't know if you could tell me and Ash are really into horror, so I think this is where just. The good thing is this is already expanded to being weekly, already. So who knows what we'll do next?
But I think with all that out of the way, I think it's definitely time to jump into our spotlight of the week and talk about the 90s, because that is what this episode is about. And we had our good friends over at the 90s horror documentary In the Search of Darkness, the 90s. They're going to be looking for films from 1990 to 1994 as a part of their first part of the movie. And we're going to be a part of it in some way. We have been invited to be on it as creators. So we're going to have some definite input in it, which is going to be awesome. We invite you guys to check out their Instagram at 80s Horror Doc and check out all the stuff on that. But yes, let's talk 90s horror.
Yeah, I mean, just on a quick word on In Search of Darkness, right? I have seen all the other ones. They are awesome. They've also did like In Search of the Last Action Hero, In Search of Tomorrow. Yeah. They're doing a first-person shooter documentary, which I can't wait. They did Aliens Expanded. This is a really decent, top-notch, production. I mean, if you really love horror stuff, they're awesome. They're also available on Shudder if you haven't seen the other ones, and I cannot recommend enough. And I am unbelievably thrilled that we're part of this. I mean, this is unexpected, but really freaking awesome.
Yeah, it's such a cool opportunity, but it's going to be an amazing ride.
Also, there's going to be talking about 90s, because 90s horror I think doesn't get talked about enough. Genuinely.
No, definitely not. There's some good films. When I was sort of sat looking it up, actually some of my favorite films are in here, to be honest. And I had no idea they were that early on. I thought they were a lot later.
I think as well, like sometimes with 90s films, like you said, there's that weird thing where you either think they're earlier than they are and you think they're late 80s, or you think they're later than they are and you think they're early 2000s, and actually they are slap bang in that little super bracket. And things, again, a bit like you, I started just like going through. I was like, because I know 90s films, I'm thinking like, but I know I regularly get some wrong. There was one that I really thought, I was convinced was like 1989, and it turned out it's a 90s film. So if you don't mind me kicking it off with a non-scary but one, The Frighteners with Michael J. Fox.
Have I seen this movie? Let me quickly look at that. Oh yeah. The one where it's the white covered face. Yes, I have seen it.
Yeah, it's like comedy, sort of horror-esque, Halloween-y type feels. I was convinced that was late 80s. I thought that was like 88, 89, and no, it's a 90s film.
Wow.
Michael J. Fox is brilliant in this film, and I only saw it for the first time a couple of years ago because I was just like, I'm going to try and watch every Michael J. Fox film, because you know when you just get into one of those mindsets, and I started with that one, and I'll be honest, I probably pretty much stopped there after that. Just rewatched Back to the Future again, but yeah, absolutely awesome film, great effects as well, especially for the time. Great couple of, and there's a very famous blooper I think from it, where he does something and he basically ends up accidentally calling like one of the characters Doc or something like that. Like he's still very in Back to the Future mind, but it's a really good, solid film. A really good one to watch, like sort of Halloween time as well for the vibes.
And yeah, I think we should definitely say, because he's in this film, and I think most of these films probably in some form or another are going to probably star or have in them Jake Busey, because he's in most 90s movies. He was a big 90s actor.
Yes, that is very true.
He's in this. He's in so many more. He's going to be in so many of these films. I just when I was looking at this film, I just looked at his listing, like everything is 90s on there, isn't it? Like
he's like the 90s Carl Urban.
Oh god, he was in Starship Troopers. Jesus, he's got right.
Hi, we need an actor to. Yeah, I got Busey. Wait, I haven't even told you what kind of actor I need. No, we got Busey.
Well, you kick it off with The Frighteners. I'm going to kick it off with Sleepy Hollow from 1999, and just on the tail end of the 90s. But Tim Burton's Sleepy Hollow was a really cool version. I know, Christina Ricci, Johnny Depp's in there. There's Peter Walkman. Chris Walkman.
Scariest. Yeah, and he doesn't talk in it, which is funny because I would have loved it though if he's like, guys, I lost my head. I can't find it, and now I'm gonna kill you all with my scary teeth.
But there's also like Casper Van Dien's in there as well. Ian McDermott's in there. There's so many people in it. And Christopher Lee as well is in there. It's a great movie,
atmospheric film as well.
Yeah,
like as Tim Burton does very well. It he creates that sort of gothic kind of atmosphere, and it just oozes out of Sleepy Hollow. It's always a bit longer than I remember it. That's my one criticism of it, is it might be a bit too long. I still love it, but I just Joby, that was a great walking. Thank you very much. Walking here, walking there. But it's I agree. Very good choice, sir. Sorry, I just got Christopher Walken's voice in my head. Do you know he was almost Han Solo?
The thing is, because you're doing it, there's a part of me that wants to join in some form or another.
It's crazy.
I can't do it as well. But
welcome to the House of Horrors podcast. It's not actually in one house that's haunted, as you will. It's more of a concept. Sorry, I'll stop now. I've got to turn it off.
No, because when you go, the thing is, you start doing walking, and then you just want to just jump straight into Nick Cage. It's one of the things. It comes with the voice territory.
You just start knocking all those.
You start knocking them out one by one in your head. I need to do Nick Cage now. Anyway, Save us. What's your next movie?
My next movie has actually already been mentioned in this chat by Joby One himself, which is The Faculty, which is like one of those things. Yeah. Like the funny thing about The Faculty, because there's also like the Simpsons Treehouse of Horror episode where like the kids, get bumped off one by one in by the teachers.
Oh God, Usher's in this movie.
Yep, he is. It's a great film. Again, I only saw it for the first time a couple of years back. It's got Josh. What is his name? Not Josh.
Josh
Yeah,
Hartnett.
Josh Hartnett. Yeah. Who's had a nice little return to the big screen in Oppenheimer recently. But he is fantastic in it, and it's like it has some good twists in it. Not everyone dies who you think is going to die, which is always good. I'm a really big fan of like pick them off one by one movies. You know, like where there's only one or two at the end. I don't know why I always have. I think that's why I love Aliens so much, because you start off with all these Marines and they go. But yeah, so I think that's an underrated one that people don't talk about as much. It's not a slasher, and I think people do associate 90s horror very much with slashers. You know, I don't think there's as much with the alien or paranormal stuff, weirdly, but I do think that there is a lot of stuff there, but people don't seem to associate it somehow. I think it's weirdly very associated with slashers, which is a shame, because there's actually a lot of I think I would even argue there might even be more non-slasher horror in the 90s.
Yeah, I always associate the 80s with slashers. 90s to me is like gothic movies.
Okay, interesting.
Because I grew up on like your Sleepy Hollows, and the next one that I'm going to bring up, as I'm sure you're going to know what it is, Bram Stoker's Dracula, the 1992 version, because that was just a cast listing of amazing actors in that.
It is. That's a Keanu Reeves job, isn't it?
That's an early Keanu Reeves as well. So we get a good old young Keanu Reeves in it. We get Winona Ryder, Gary Oldman, Anthony Hopkins, Richard E. Grant, Carrie Hughes. We got Billy Campbell, Sadie Frost. The cast list is just nuts when you look back now. It was a 90s masterpiece.
It is, and the thing is, I know the accent's not great from Keanu, but it's part of its charm, because he's trying, and like he's great fun to watch in it.
His amazing line of "going through walls like a blazing inferno."
Yeah, I am incredibly English. Don't you know that? Look, I'm drinking tea and everything.
But it gave us that iconic moment from the film, which is used now. It's used to this day. Whenever you look at like vampire movies, they instantly use that Sadie Frost in the white wedding outfit with the big teeth and the little baby that's screaming in her arms, clearly trying to get away.
I think some bits of it really did look like almost like concept art come to life.
Yeah.
Which is quite like, I think it's a really good achievement for a film to make it look like a different medium. Like when it's like being portrayed. It's why I like some of the, like sometimes I might not enjoy a film, but the visuals will be enough for me to want to watch it again. Because I think that's such a incredible achievement, is to give something so much depth and everything that you almost forget you're watching a film when you're looking at almost like a moving painting or something. And some of the scenery work in Bram Stoker's Dracula is just like jaw-droppingly amazing.
Yeah, 100%.
My turn next. Right, here we go. This is going to really derail you. If I said the amazing line, "You ate my bird," what film do you think I'm quoting?
I have no idea. You ate
Deep
my bird.
Blue Sea.
I don't think I've ever seen it, mate. I don't think I've ever seen it.
Jaws of the 90s. Deep Blue Sea. And apparently there's directed sequels now, which I haven't seen yet. But the original Deep Blue Sea, right, was one of those VHSs my mate got, Josh Leonard. Got it, and Andy H got it straight away. Deep Blue Sea is a great, again, it's a pick 'em off one by one. Samuel Jackson's in it, and he has an incredible death scene in it. There's a lot of people you sort of recognize. Sometimes you don't know their names, but you recognize and stuff like that. But it's it's a great film. It's stupid, but it's fun, and it has a couple of jump scare bits, and it's got the whole shark fear going. But this is like a smart shark. They're testing with its brain to try and cure Alzheimer's, I think it is. Or even it's like cancer or Alzheimer's, something like that. They're testing with the shark's brain. And then through a series of unfortunate events, they're on an underwater lab, by the way. And then it starts like busting down and they've got to escape from it. And like water's rising and stuff like that. It's so much fun. It really is so much fun.
Yeah, I see what you mean about the cast. It's got a good cast, but to describe them, if you said the names, you'd have no idea. But if I said like Tony Soprano's sister, and Mama's Gonna Knock You Out, LL Cool J, and Phoebe's boyfriend from Friends, then
yes, exactly. And he could not be more different from the character in Friends as well, which is
Or I could say the guy that sold helium to Sheldon Cooper in Big Bang Theory he did that as well.
That is true. That is very accurate as well.
Yeah,
so Deep Blue Sea is one of mine. We should have a name for this segment. We should just call it like Film Tennis or something like
that.
Yeah. Your serve.
Oh dear. Next up, again, all yours are like deep cut movies, and mine are just like proper fan movies. But Bride of Chucky, I didn't realize that was 1998. I thought that was a lot later. But yeah, Bride of Chucky.
Very, 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 very good film. Bride of Chucky. It took Chucky to a whole new level.
Yeah, I think when it came out, there's a lot of hate for it, but I loved it. And I was a 90s kid, so I mean, Jennifer Tilly was the 90s crush. So, and the fact that she's in that all gothed up, and yeah, that was my thing. I was into that.
Really weird voice where she talks like this.
The thing is, right, the second half of the movie is not my favorite bit. My favorite part of the movie is the beginning bit, and I wish they did more of that. Because I like the concept of her being still as the woman, and then before she goes into becoming the bride doll. I like her versus the Chucky doll and the banter and stuff. I like that.
Yeah, it's not the strongest finish, but it's still a really entertaining watch. Like it's not like the best Chucky film either, but it's not the worst one either. But it is still a really enjoyable film. I agree though. It's a bit like my feelings, on Jurassic Park Fallen Kingdom. Yeah. They did, in that one they only did like a third or a quarter of the film that I wanted a whole film of. So yeah, that's a good observation about Bride of Chucky. Good observation, sir. Well done.
But this gave us Katherine Heigl, like the first. I'm not sure if it was maybe even her first role. This was like one of her very early roles. So yeah, Katherine Heigl's in that movie.
How about that? Right.
She was typecasted after that film. She was in horror films for a long time, like all these random little, like the Valentine's movie in the 2000s.
It's hard to get out of horror, as Jamie Lee Curtis always says about being, if you're cast as one of the next Scream Queens, then you're in there for a while. So, mate, I hope you've got plenty of bandages because it's another deep cut coming. And that is a pun based on the film as well. So if I said 90s Saw, can you think of film? Because I've got a feeling you haven't seen this.
Probably
and it is a franchise.
A franchise? 90s Saw?
And if I showed you this box here, can you work it out?
Is it 7?
No.
No, that's not a lot later, isn't it?
Yeah, but like anyone in the comments? Cube.
Nope.
Cube is a franchise that started in the 90s. Cube was Saw before Saw.
Ooh.
So Cube is a lot of people wake up and they're in these. Andy H got it again. Who just gets it? You get me, Andy. Cube is a fantastic film. It's one that no one. Again, I don't hear people talking about. It is a franchise. I think it's got like maybe 4 or 5 films in it. They're really good. So like people wake up and they're in these. Each room is different, and they've got to get through this cube. And the cube moves almost like a Rubik's cube. And each room has a different trap. They don't know what it is. There's not really any clues to it. And they've all basically got to survive and try and find the exit. But obviously, like I said, things rotate. They get separated. It's got really good effects, for one. Franchise itself as a whole, I actually think is a pretty solid franchise. I'm surprised it hasn't been picked up, especially since Saw became more popular. Surprised it hasn't been picked up and then overturned into like a Amazon series or even to get a new film or a reboot of it, because I think there's a lot of potential still. It's kind of almost like if you were mixing modern franchises to get something from the past, I would say it's a mix of Escape Room and Saw.
All right, okay.
But I can recommend. So there you go. That's another deep cut for you there.
Again, mine's not a deep cut, but I'm going to do a quote anyway, even though you'll probably get it instantly. But you girls watch out for those weirdos. We are the weirdos, mister.
I can't think. No.
The Craft.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
Oh, no.
I know.
The Craft is amazing.
I know. I've heard so many good things about it.
They have done a sequel recently, which a lot of people hated on. I didn't mind it, but a lot of people were calling it, like, when they do these films now and there's like a character for this and a character for that to represent. But the actual film felt decent, but a lot of people didn't like the second one, Craft Legacy. But the original Craft, it's a great movie, and the fact that the cast in it as well. So you've got, Robin Tunney's in there, you've got Neve Campbell, Skeet Ulrich's in there. There's so many people. So it was just, again, there's people in there that you'd recognize, but you wouldn't know the names of, like
not
Brenda
by
Strong
names, but by faces.
Yeah, like Brenda Strong's in there as the Doctor. She's been in loads of films. But yeah, it's such a cool movie, and it's just 4 girls that come together and become witches. They got powers.
Well, Andy's quoting it away in the old in the chat box there. LN Studio Clips. Hello. 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 Sorry. And I hate Bono. I don't know why I quoted Bono.
Yeah. Mate, I love that film. The what's the other one? It was the thing at the end I used to be able to quote, the now is the time, let her go in peace. Now is the time, let her go in peace, which is doing the binding thing to stop her from using her powers against her.
Okay,
so
I need to look this up.
So they use like proper Wiccan like things in it. Like that's the beauty part of the film. It is one of them Hollywood movies where they use real Wiccan stuff in it. And so a lot of people like of the time were like getting into the Wiccan scene, and that film's like a gateway to that kind of like culture. So it was great movie.
Which does also lend to your love of the Coven series. So yes,
it does.
You're a bit witchy. You're a bit witchy on the quiet, aren't you, Ash?
I like things like the occult, paranormal, and things like that. I like to read about it. You know what I mean? Like I like. Yeah, I'm very much with these people of. If I hear there's like some random cult out in America, I will read everything up on it and find all the weird things about them. And that's me. I like to investigate
territory. I mean, the best one is Scientology. No, I'm joking. Just have Tom Cruise coming in. And
I was literally about to go, Tom. Why are you with my daughter?
Yeah. Why are you in my closet, Tom? Sorry, no. That's a Park reference. Sorry, everyone. Sorry. Do you know what? It's not a deep cut, but LN Studio Clips has brought it up. I've got to bring it up. We got to talk about Scream.
Yeah.
I know we've talked a lot about Scream, and we're big Scream fans, and we talked about this a lot as a franchise, so we won't go too much into it. Because again, there's probably a Scream episode in the making for us, really, isn't there?
Probably. Yeah.
I think Andy's got one of my other ones in there already. But Scream is one of those things where like it's weird because it's sort of a love letter and almost a parody of horror movies. It's one of the first ones that's like in that self-referential kind of time where it's about surviving the rules of a horror movie. And you got Randy, who effectively is the audience. So Randy is the guy who screams at the TV, don't run left, or don't do this, don't do that, and don't leave the house without the phone, or lock the doors anyway. Don't just wait until someone tells you that I'm going to be in the house in 2 minutes, whatever. So I think it was that first time, like it's almost like having the audience in on the horror, which was really cleverly done.
Oh, 100%. But did you know did you see that thing recently, which I didn't know this till the other day, that they actually point out very early on who is the killers of the movie?
No.
So the bit where they're all sat on the water fountain.
Yeah.
Let me get the photo. Scream water fountain scene. Here we go. So basically, if you look at their shoes.
Studio Clips.
It's one of them things where you wouldn't even think about it. It's so subtle, but they actually put they actually showed you who the killers were in the very beginning of the movie, and nobody picked up on it. And it's taken years for the internet to come around for this thing to even circulate. But if I share this and then zoom. Oh, for God's sake, stupid Reddit. But basically, if you see here, there's Screech Ulrich, black boots, white socks, and there's what do you call him? Black socks, white shoes. Yeah.
Killer Shaggy. Wow.
They've both got the boots on. They've both got the boots on.
Damn.
I know, and it's one of them stupid little subtle references. that you wouldn't have ever picked up on without the internet going, by the way, did you see this?
But I think you also know that now no one is ever going to stop doing that thing where they now will just focus on those shoes whenever they watch that scene.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the minute you work out, or someone tells you, oh, you can see the cameraman in that one. All you do is look at the cameraman in that shot. You know, so now all I'm going to do when I watch that next is just be like looking at shoes.
Yeah, it's funny. I was reading a thing on like 90s horror the other day, and they just put it straight up. You know, they give away the killers at the very beginning of the movie, and nobody was none the wiser.
Old Man Rivers, no, don't.
Oh mate, but yeah, that's Scream. Yeah, definitely one of the most iconic movies of the 90s. The fact that it was the first film to use like the fact that it was to use the cell phone as well for the first time in like a horror film in that way. Because
yes,
the girl in the beginning, obviously, she's got the corded phone, and then the killer's got the wireless. And, yeah,
I like agreed, totally agree. Like, and I think like also it did one of the very first like proper fake outs. It almost did like what Police Squad used to do, which is like an old school comedy series. But they used to get special guest stars, and they killed them off in the opening credits. And it was a similar thing, obviously, because they had what's the chops? Is it Drew Barrymore? Yeah. Gets killed off in the beginning. I mean, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Scream now and you're watching this show, then I'm like, why? But it's they did the whole fake out thing. You thought she was going to be the main character, and she was dead in like, you know, the opening. And you were like, damn. Mm-hmm. It is your serve, by the way, because I did a cop out. Ella in the studios brought it up, and I thought, oh, I've got to talk about it.
Okay, then my next big serve, and I think we have to talk about it again. It's up there with like Scream, but It. The 1990s TV version of it. I know it's technically not a movie, it's a TV film, but still, it counts. And it gave the world Tim Curry's It.
Sorry, just one of the best bits of the movie. I mean, yeah, it's technically a mini series put together as a film, but I've only ever watched it as a film. My friend, my dear friend Kelly Jeffs from high school, who I still talk to all the time, she used to have it on VHS, and it used to scare her, so she'd only watch it if like one of her friends was around. So I was like, why do you still have it? She's like, oh, it terrifies me. I'm like, should we watch it then? I was like, yeah, right. And I actually thought it was really scary. I really did. And it's funny that the spider thing just never bugged me too much at the end. I always thought it was a bit of a lame ending, but like I never, never like ruined it for me. But I just thought it was Tim Curry's just brilliant. And that was actually another fun fact for you all. Tim Curry was originally cast as the Joker for Batman the Animated Series. However, when he started recording it, it sounded very much like It. And the thing about that is that they found it too frightening, effectively, for kids. So Mark Hamill was brought on to replace. So that's how Mark Hamill ended up being, hello, kiddies, Joker's back in town. You know, but originally we could have had Tim Curry's terrifying It voice.
Nice.
There you go.
Yeah. Your serve.
My serve. It's been mentioned in this chat, so I got to talk about it because it's one of my favorite films, actually, is Event Horizon, which is basically Hellraiser in space. But like, it's just awesome. Amazing performance by Sam Neill. Lawrence Fishburne, I think, is just one of the most watchable actors ever. I love Lawrence Fishburne. And that's not Samuel L. Jackson. Just in reference to every internet thing where Fox News is tried to refer to him as Lawrence Fishburne. But it's Event Horizon, what a film. Like this, it's very almost Geiger-like in its design, like a lot of its design choices, very much, Alien was based off, H.R. Geiger's design stuff. There's some it's incredibly gothic, it's incredibly dark. They try and chuck some science in it. There's a bit of comedy in it as well. It's a very well-balanced film, I think. And again, it's starting to get a bit more love than it did now. Unfortunately, it's really hard. Like, there was loads of stuff shot for it and lost. And a lot of the original prints have been lost forever, like for a lot of the footage that was gone. So we're unlikely to ever get like an extended Blu-ray version. I think they found a few things. So there might be like a sort of extended one, but and I think they have finally put it on Blu-ray now, but like we'll never get the full original version that was shown, not in the cinemas, but I think just to like test screens. That apparently was a bit too disturbing, which is funny because it's too disturbing then, but when you think about the films we've had now, it probably wouldn't be that bad. if that makes sense. Like, it'd probably still be, like, it'd still be pretty terrifying, but you know, in comparison, you know, we've got films like Saw and Hostel and way grosser ones, which I can't even think of off the top of my head. The Last Man, you know, that's just yeah. The Last Man, the most terrifying horror film there is.
But yeah, there'll never be a film like Event Horizon again, just because of what it was. It was like a sci-fi film that terrified the crap out of you. It was a very disturbing movie.
I think it was probably I'd say it's the most successful and best sci-fi horror since Alien.
Yeah, and it had Jason Isaacs in that as well, isn't he? Very young Jason Isaacs.
As one of the, I think he's like the mechanic or the engineer of the ship, I want to say.
Yeah, great movie.
Also, the guy who played Alfred in the Gotham series.
Yeah. He's in there as well. Kathleen Quinlan as well. Great looking cast. It's a good movie, and do you know what? It's actually on Channel 4 right now. If you want to watch that tonight, it's on Channel 4 OD for free. It's just popped up on as I'm googling. It's just popped up.
If you want a nice, relaxing film to watch before you go to sleep.
My final movie of the night, Wes Craven's New Nightmare. I think it is the most underrated Freddy movie ever made.
Yes, and again, 90s self-referential thing. It's that whole fourth wall break, which, let's be honest, Freddy was one of the best ones for. It's prime time, bitch.
They cut a scene out. Did you hear Robert Englund talking about this recently?
It's in this lovely box set. No? What scene did they cut?
They cut a scene where Freddy kills Robert Englund. They cut that one out.
Oh, that's a waste. That would have been awesome. Oh, so LN Studio Clips.
He filmed an entire scene where Freddy was apparently like a spider on a spider's web, and Robert Englund was like in the middle of the spider's web, stuck, and Freddy was slowly working his way towards him. It was meant to be very meta as well, and talking about there's a part of you in me, and I'm a part of you, and I'm going to use you to come through the real world. And there was like this whole explanation of how Freddy got to our world, which was through the nightmares of Robert Englund. The idea was going to be that basically Freddy came through Robert's nightmares, and his fear of Freddy as a character brought him to life. That was the original concept.
That would have been so good.
I know. It's like as soon as he said it, I'm like, that is an amazing movie. I want to go back and make it.
Oh, I'm gutted because there is so many good films from the night. So for my last one, I'm just going to quickly list some of the other things I had on there, and we'll talk. Yeah. Maybe we'll do it. We'll talk about them more in depth next week. We'll continue the 90s thing maybe. So here's just some of the other ones I got on my list. I Know What You Did Last Summer. Silence of the Lambs. Deep Rising. That is one that's underrated. You should watch it. Candyman. Leprechaun. End of Days. Nightmare Before Christmas. And my last one I want to talk about is The Mummy.
Oh, yeah. That
Brendan Fraser's
well.
The Mummy. Oh, The Mummy and The Mummy Returns are just like the most beautiful, just cup of joy ever.
Oh, The Mummy was the perfect way of bringing the Universal monsters back to life, and I wish they would have continued using that, like his way of doing it, Stephen Sommers' way of doing it, because that film is timeless. I love it.
It is. It's so good, and let's be honest. Brendan Fraser. I mean, I know I'm bi, but even a straight man would go, "Oh, hello, Brendan. How are you?" The way he sweeps their hair from you, like, "Oh, wow, what's up, baby?" But the whole film is just beautiful. But here's a bit of fun behind the scenes thing. The actor who's playing Imhotep, he was meant to be doing this scene, and round the corner comes Brendan Fraser, basically in the costume of a Nux on a moon, right, with the gold paint and the bikini and everything. And apparently it was just completely lost it. But can you it just shows you what good engineering. But those films, both the first, the third one, I've watched it a few times. It's okay. I mean, I just only rewatch it really to watch more Brendan Fraser. He said he's open to return to it, which would be interesting. But those first two films, stylistically, musically, just everything about them are just so good. So good.
If they'd have continued, there was a way that they could have continued using Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz and that whole storyline and they could have like done Dracula after that and sent them as treasure hunters to Transylvania, and then keep the same sort of thing going. Instead of meeting the Magi, you'd meet Van Helsing or something, and they could have kept that going. And like
finding like the lost lab of Dr. Frankenstein, for example, and accidentally awakening the monster. You know,
they could have used all the Universal monsters and used the family as the sort of like in between like way of getting to them.
They could have, and I think there could have been a lot of scope for that. John Hannah as, you know, the brother is just as amazing as well. I saw him once in London. Like we were in Spitalfields Market, and he'd obviously just finished a bike ride. He was very sweating, just sitting down catching his breath. And I saw him and I locked eyes with him and I thought, I'm not going to be that guy because he's just obviously done a bike ride. So I just gave him a little nod of acknowledgement. I got one back and I was like, that's me saying, I recognize who you are. I appreciate who you are. You're awesome. But I'm also not going to just be like, hi, can I talk to you about like over the films and TV programs you've done for the last time when you're sweating out your ass? But yeah, that's my little thing. I was like, I saw him. But yeah, I love those films. I just think they're brilliant. The effects as well. Yeah, some of them haven't aged great. Let's talk about Dwayne Johnson as the Scorpion King. But that's part of his charm, to be fair. We all look forward to when that creature comes out and it's very weird CGI Dwayne Johnson.
But to be fair, the first film I don't think has aged at all. The second film's aged a lot now. But the first film, I thought because they used a lot of practical effects in it, it looks good now like it did then.
Yeah,
I don't see it. I haven't seen it age very much. But yeah, the second one, this technology on that's a bit bad, isn't it?
I think also in the first one they kept to more confined areas. There was a couple of big open scenes, like with the plane, for example, and stuff like that. But the most of it was kept in small areas. It was in the campsite. It was in the museum. Yeah. It was in the pyramid. You know, like it was inside of things. You know, so I think like, whereas the second one is much more big expanses. It's like the hot air balloon. It's the jungle. It's, you know, it's all much bigger. And I think, like you said, 90s CGI. It's an interesting thing, 90s CGI. And like same with Deep Rising, you know, similar kind of thing to that respect. Actually, in Deep Rising, the guy who plays Benny in The Mummy is in Deep Rising.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll never, you know, like, hey, O'Connell, looks like I've got all the horses. Hey, Benny, looks like you're on the wrong side of the river. Timeless.
My favorite thing was, it's a curse. It's a curse. Hey, wow, it's a curse. Super.
I just love he's got all the different religious symbols and he just starts doing that.
Oh, do you know what? I can still quote that movie to this day, and I can, you know, there's the bits where he's doing the he's got all the different symbols, and he's an amazing little actor. I love him.
People sit there and talk about Vin Diesel doing I Am Groot in different languages. I mean, check him out, Kevin J. O'Connor. They check Kevin Kev out. You know, he's just sitting there, he's like, and Imhotep as well. Like, you know, just amazing because he's both like sort of menacing and like the bits where he's like, this is where the CGI really works and like works well, was when it was like he was half formed, and then the bits where he's like towards the end of it and it was all like just right around his mouth, and there's like the beetle goes in and out and stuff like that,
and he bites it.
Yeah,
just eats it. There, it's great. My thing about that film, me and my friend to this day, and he still does this now, and he'll always do it when we're uptown and we've gotten a bit merry, and we're walking home. He will instantly just start going, Imhotep. And he'll just, on my stag do, there is a video on my wife's phone of my stag do of us all walking down my street. There's like 12 of us all going, Imhotep, because she could hear us coming a mile away, and the neighbors must have thought we were fucking mental.
Amazing. I genuinely love that. Stuggs has just put in there like a Jurassic Park CGI still holds up, and I can confirm that because I went to the anniversary showing in the Odeon, and sometimes films CGI doesn't hold up as much when you see it on the big screen after so many years. But I will actually gladly say that Jurassic Park stood the test of time. The CGI found a way.
But yeah, I think we're going to have to do a part 2 next week because we didn't even get to touch on The Ring. We didn't even get to touch on any of the Stephen King stuff. Blair Witch Project, Candyman, like you said. There's so many. There is so many. And then you don't even talk about the films like The Gremlins 2 that came out. The Crow.
Nightmare Before Christmas.
Nightmare Before Christmas, Hocus Pocus, all the sort of like non-horror-y horror as well, if you want to call it that. Interview with the Vampire, Devil's Advocate, Wolf, Dusk Till Dawn. There's still so many to touch on, so we will definitely have to do part 2 next week, and especially because that we can talk about my favorite film as well, which is Tales from the Hood. If you haven't seen that movie, oh my god, please go watch it.
Okay.
Have you not seen Tales from the Hood?
No.
Oh, Tales from the Hood.
I've not even heard of it.
It's got our favorite actor in it as well. It's got Dr. Facilier himself in that.
Ooh, Keith David, my man,
Yeah,
the man with the golden
thing,
voice.
It's that movie where you've seen it going around on TikTok recently of him going, "Welcome to hell, motherfucker," in the car.
Oh, we've got a recommendation from Andy H in the credits. In the credits? Oh my god, I'm talking as if like this is a film thing. In the credits. Andy H, so one for you both. 1996, starring Val Kilmer. I do love Val Kilmer, and Michael Douglas. The Ghost in the Darkness. I've never heard of that.
The Ghost in the Darkness. Let's have a quick Google.
That's the theme song, by the way, in case anyone didn't know. I'm joking.
1996. No, I haven't seen that movie. Okay, we'll give that a watch. That'll be on somewhere like Amazon or something for like £2.
Worth it.
As well, yeah, Frankenhooker, another one of my favorite cheesy little horror movies.
Nope, never heard that one.
There's definitely a theme to like my favorite films. I think I'm a bit perverted. Let's move on.
Andy H, I Am Nobody's post-credit scene. Laugh out. What I love about that though is that sounded like a line from a post-credit scene. All the credits end, and then it comes back and then, I'm Nobody's post-credit scene. Andy H will return in Pizza Hut, the movie. Leprechaun in the Hood. Do you know what? I've got those films, and I've only just managed to get I think that was thanks to Andy as well, actually. I think it was actually. I finally got a good copy of Leprechaun Back to Dadhood in Region 2. Weirdly, it turned out to be on CEX after all the places I'd looked. I never thought to look on CEX website. And I think it was only like a couple in stock. But again, that was another like Andy find after I've been searching for so long. Nice. I've got a few Region 1 copies if anyone wants one, because I kept buying them on the chance it might be Region 2. It was not.
And you know what? We still didn't touch on films like Nightbreed, Tremors, Species, Hellraiser, Child's Play. There were so many more. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the original movie, Evil Toons. That is a deep cut, but I have seen that one.
Army of the Dead,
House on Hill, Army of the Dead, Sleepwalkers, Urban Legend, Wishmaster. There's
almost like there's a lot of horror, and it looks like we're just going to have to do this every week for the rest of our lives.
That's the way it goes. And well, just to get Ryan excited just as much as the audience, we'll do a part 2 of 90s horror, but then the week after, I want to take us into the 2000s, because I know Ryan's into the 2000s horrors a lot, same as me. 2000s horror as well needs to be discussed, because so many films in there as well.
Yeah, I think we just have to start doing like a cycle of the decade. We'll do a couple of weeks on each decade.
Decade.
Yeah, and I mean, and we still got to do a Stephen King one. We just got to do lots of things.
So yeah, I think we will leave it there for tonight. That is probably about time. But guys, thank you all very much for tuning in to us rambling about horror films for the last 90 minutes. And we will see you definitely next week for another House of Horrors. Ryan, do you want to sign us off?
Don't be a ghoul. Stay in school. It's going to come up with a different one every week. I don't fuck it. Why not?
Don't be a ghoul. Stay in school. Love it. Thank you very much, guys. Until next time. See you later.